Rob, Manus announced last week, right?
Mm-hmm.
John Fleming already in. Bustani,
He's announced it today.
Foster Campbell, maybe.
Yeah, State Treasurer John Kennedy.
Is anybody else on the fence? Any well-known names that have yet to be mentioned?
I think the only one y'all left out was Scott Angel.
Yes, yes. So what do you think early on? I was talking to somebody this weekend, in fact, a couple of folks, and they said that it's going to be a real uphill climb for Congressman John Fleming simply because of geography.
Right. And I think the other thing is that in that particular space is another congressman. I mean, Charles Bustani's right there with John Fleming. They've got, similar kinds of tenure in Washington, et cetera, et cetera. But Charles Bustani has kind of a claim that is married into the Edwin Edwards family, or the other way around, maybe the Edwin Edwards family married into his. Bigger base in Acadiana and other parts of South Louisiana. I think probably has a little more currency politically because, he did have to run to save his seat, in essence, after reapportionment. That's when he of course, beat Jeff Landry, who was coming out of the district that we ultimately lost because of reapportionment. I think there are a lot of reasons that Bustani has more strength statewide. He also, by the way, does seem to know very, very well how to raise money, and maybe it's for all those other reasons that I just named. John Fleming does well, but John Fleming also has the Manus factor, which Manus runs really, really well up here. And, then there's the whole issue of what in the world would Foster Campbell be doing up here as well.
That's what I want to ask you. If you have all these Republicans bashing on each other, and you're going to have kind of similar thing that happened in the governor's race where you're going to have a Democrat who's going to get in that runoff with little or no trouble, no problem.
I don't think he's in the same situation at all, though, as John Bell Edwards. I mean, Foster Campbell would never be an incidental senator, and in fact, John Bell Edwards is kind of an incidental governor. But more importantly, we have to remember Foster Campbell has extraordinary meaning outside of our immediate area in Louisiana politics. He is an arch enemy of the oil and gas industry. Now is not a time to be the arch enemy of the oil industry.
Explain why.
Because there's too much damage being done to the economy already as the price of oil and gas have just, of course, imploded. I don't think anybody wants to do anything else that might make that even worse. And the industry is going to have to do everything it can to make sure Foster Campbell is not there.
And pardon me, one of Foster's recommendations, because he's one of the finance/planning guys for John Bell, is one of Foster's recommendations was, if I recall, to increase oil and gas tax.
Yes. And the reaction from the industry, of course, as soon as he was anywhere in the picture, was every bit as rough as it's ever been. And remember what they did the last time Foster ran. He did run statewide in 2007 for governor when Bobby Jindal was elected. There were four major candidates. Bobby Jindal, who won without a runoff with 53% of the vote. And then you had Walter Boisseau, who came in next, then John Georges of Baton Rouge, the man that now owns the Morning Advocate. He came in third. Foster Campbell ran fourth of those four major candidates. He got 12% of the vote. So he can do much better than that if he's the only Democrat in a statewide race.
Will he be the only Democrat?
I think he will, frankly. If he really wants to get in there and spend some of the money that we all know he has, and he's got a lot, if he wants to self-finance again and just tells everybody, look, I'm going to be the one, the Democrat, that gets the African-American vote. There's no way around that. So to the extent that there is another John Bell Edwards 1 year later, it's me. Y'all don't need to put anybody else in this. And by the way, Mitch Landrieu says he's not interested, so who would the other Democrat be?
So you tell me, is the Democrat Party statewide ready to get behind Foster Campbell as their standard bearer next year?
I don't think they can tell him no. I don't know that they're ready because they see everything we just talked about, but I think it's his choice, and I believe that they would honor it because, frankly, I don't believe the state Democratic Party believes they can win 2 years in a row.